Luxeley here, and you are there, and depending on where you are, I just might want to be there. How's everybody doing? Simple question. Do you work hard? Now, the answer is simply yes or no. There's no maybe, there's no sometimes on Friday, yes or no. But the question isn't really a simple one. It's one of those trick questions they throw at you. No, it's not a big SAT question or an MCAT question or anything like that. But if I did a random poll and I asked a bunch of random people, what else would you do in a random poll? And if I asked them a simple question, which isn't really so simple, do you work hard? 95% of the people I ask will say, yes, I work hard. I work very hard. And the 5% who say, nah, you know what? I hardly work. I'm dyslexic. I hardly work. And they probably say that because they kind of believe hard work causes brain cancer. And to be completely honest with you guys, I think the 5% minority may be pretty damn correct. Some of the time. More on that in a few minutes. Because I'm not really asking the right question here. The right question is, do you work smart? Before the day and age of caller ID, cell phones, and do-it-yourself e-trading, I worked in a dinosaur age of the stockbroker, where we were basically cold calling terrorists. That's what we did. We called random strangers, say, hey dude, can you send me 50 grand? And after we asked a lot of people that same question, someone was actually stupid enough to do it. Incidentally, Wall Street was named after a huge wall in downtown New York, hence the name Wall Street. Very original. It was a wall built by the Dutch, not exactly sure when. It was either the early 18th century or the late 17th century, but the Dutch built this wall for the sole purpose of keeping the Indians out and keeping the pigs in. That's a true story. You can go ahead and Google it. When it actually occurred, I don't know. I was just too lazy to Google it. And even today, the purpose of the wall still holds very true. Unlike the wall in Game of Thrones, this is a very different wall. Basically, the pigs inside, over the years, over the centuries, over the decades, etc., as time passes, they kind of redefine greed and excess. And the Indians standing outside the wall simply asked the question, hey guys, I work pretty damn hard myself. Where's my Ferrari? Now, you tell me if you think that I worked hard when I first stepped on as an apprentice and earned my own keep as a noob on Wall Street, as a, cold calling terrorist, a stockbroker, who is now also known as a dinosaur. I worked 14 to 12 hours a day. I made 600 to 800 phone calls a day. I threw 50 to 60 sales pitches a day, pumped up with fake enthusiasm and exaggerated facts. And every other day, if I was a little bit lucky, I actually landed some kind of sale. 8 times a day, I'd be told to go screw myself. Oh, who we kidding? Go fuck yourself, Luxeley! That's what I basically heard 8 times a day at least. And not only go fuck myself, but go fuck myself with a razor. But not only a razor, a rusty razor. Now, one guy even told me to saturate, this one was great, he told me to saturate myself in lighter fluid and go to hell. And believe it or not, this is the truth, that guy was a reverend. I didn't break a sweat or break my back working as a stockbroker on Wall Street, but I did work pretty damn hard. But there was always hope. Always hope. It remained. It was just always there, because if I harpooned one whale, if I landed one Gordon Gekko, and if you don't know who Gordon Gekko is, Google him. If I landed that one big investor with north of 25 million in the market, I'd be set. No more ridiculous abuse from strangers on the phone. No more daily grind, 12 to 14 hours a day, 5 days a week. Just one Gordon Gekko on the books, with a little bit of a paper profit on the books. And a few months later, and this is the truth, a few months later, I'd be picking out the color and interior for my new Ferrari. True story. Now, north of 25 million in the market is pretty damn huge today in 2015. Spin the clock back to the late 90s, and it's kind of fucking Antarctica huge, okay? That's how big 25 mil in the market was, spinning that clock back about 15 years ago. Now, Ben Holton was my Gordon Gekko. And when you pick up the phone and call a big fishy in the big ocean like Ben Holden, the conversation is supposed to end one of two ways. The first way is you write a ticket, place the order for the stock. The second way the phone call ended was the guy hangs up on you. I mean, sometimes on a rare occasion you'd have a set of real balls, you know, and you feel kind of daring and you feel kind of frisky, and you act. When the guy hangs up on you, you call him back. You call him back and then you say, "Hey, how you doing? Apparently we were disconnected." And usually the guy get up on his high horse and, you know, throw back his mythical sword and say, No. We weren't disconnected. I hung up on you." And then you turn around and say, "No, my God, you would never do that. That would be rude." Well, Ben was an old school gentleman from Dallas, Texas. Ben absolutely refused to hang up on me and be rude. It was just not in his makeup. And I refused to give up until I got a ticket, made a ticket, wrote a ticket, got his ownership of stock on the books. So the question is, guys, and I'm going to propose this really interesting question. Hopefully you guys come up with some cool answers, because I really want to know what happens when an unstoppable force like myself meets up with an unmovable object like Ben Holden. A typical sales pitch to Ben probably lasted about 30 or 40 minutes. And on a rare occasion, it kind of knocked on a door of 1 hour. Okay? We talked a lot. I kept at him. I was persistent. You know the word. At least once a week for a little over a year, the immovable object, Ben Holden, and the unstoppable force, me, neither of us really budged an inch. He didn't buy, and I didn't write a ticket. And this went on for like a year. It was crazy. I literally called him at least once a week. Talk about persistence. Now, even when he was a cool guy though, because even when I got promoted to VP on my firm, Ben found out about it. He sent me a belt buckle, which was like the size of an exit sign on a fucking freeway. Okay, an interstate highway. That's how big this thing was. There actually had to be 2 people to carry it into the office. That's how big this belt buckle was. Now in Texas, a huge belt buckle is a status symbol. Okay, it serves as masculinity, it serves as fertility, it serves as wealth. In New York City, if you wear a big belt buckle the size of an interstate highway exit sign, you're gonna get the shit kicked out of you on the streets of New York. It's just that simple. You know, a little bit of difference in the culture there. But nevertheless, I appreciated the gesture and respected Ben's gesture because I understood the kindness behind it. Late one Friday afternoon, I was pumped up with enthusiasm and determination from a good old liquid lunch. What was my drink of choice? Leave it in the comments what you think I drank. I dialed Ben's number that day, and you know the old cliche, never drink and dial. Well, yeah, it's true. It really is true. But, hey, I was a drunk Captain Ahab, and he was my Moby Dick, and something was going to give today. I was full of piss and vinegar and alcohol, and I was going to get this sale finally. That phone call, that Friday, which I'd started at 3:30, ended at 7:30 at night. That phone call lasted 4 fucking hours. There was even a point during the phone call where Ben said, "Hey, Luxeley, is it possible for me to go to the little boy's room for a couple of minutes? I gotta take a piss." And I'm thinking, all right, he's just trying to blow me off the phone. He just is, you know, it's his polite way of not hanging up because he doesn't like to hang up on me. He never did. So it turns out, I figured he's just blowing me off, right? So I said, okay, go ahead, Ben. He comes back. He actually came back to the phone. I was shocked. I was like, wow, you know, maybe I could actually land this sale, you know? Meanwhile, I'm like full of a liquid lunch. I gotta piss like a racehorse, you know, and I'm like, hey, Ben, is it all right if I go to the Ben's room? I gotta take a piss myself. And he's like, sure, go ahead, Luxeley. And I was like, oh, cool. And I run over, I like never ran so fast in my life. And I get to the men's room, I take a piss, I come back, it's like 5 minutes later, and he's still on the phone. Did I get the sale? No. Luxeley did not get the sale. Did I learn Ben's life story? Yeah, I kinda did. So I ask you guys out there, and girls, Well, 7% of them. What's wrong with this picture? Here's what's wrong with the picture. A whale with north of $25 million in the market does not talk to me, or anyone else for that matter, for 4 fucking hours. Have you heard of the term internet troll? I'm sure you probably have. How about the term Wall Street troll? You know, sometimes people just like to make believe. They like to make believe. They make believe that they own several car dealerships, when in truth, they're a night manager at a junkyard. And they like to pretend that they have $25 million in the market, when in truth, they don't even have $25 extra to buy a month's supply of Doritos at the supermarket. Trolling, lying, being something you're not might be fun and exciting some of the time for some of the people, but for the people on the receiving end, that's never the case. So why? Why pretend to be something you're not? Especially when eventually that hand is going to get called and you're going to have to reveal your true colors. Why pretend? The answer is really, really simple. Most people love getting sucked up to. They just love the idea of being the big dog for a little while. And Ben pretended to be the big dog for over a fucking year. Did I work hard and show persistence? Yeah, I absolutely did. Did I work smart? No way. When I first got in touch with Ben, when I first contacted Ben, I ask all the right questions. It's what we call qualifying questions. We ask how much money they have in the market. Are they liquid to put X amount of dollars into an idea? When is the last time they bought a stock? All these questions, and we kind of usually could tell if somebody was lying or not. We really could. I mean, at a certain point in your career, and I was at that point, I could tell when people were lying. And I believe Ben had $25 million in the market. That's a lot of money. I mean, come on. Because I wanted to believe it. Because I really needed to believe it. And there lies the key aspect of sales. If you sell people what they want to believe, or sell them something they truly need to believe, you can sell anyone anything. There is a profound difference between a guy pulling into valet parking with a Hugo and a guy pulling in with a Ferrari. A good old Ferrari again. People will bow and curtsy to the guy with the Ferrari. It's that simple. That's the world. I didn't invent that. Maybe I sell a pretty cool umbrella for a rainy day, but that is the world. And what makes the Ferrari a desirable car, let me tell you guys, it's not the elegant look, the style, or the ungodly speed. What makes the Ferrari a coveted car is very simple. As someone drives down the road, drives down the block, drives in the neighborhood, they want their friends to say, ooh. They want their foes to say, ah. They want the hot-looking model to quake at the knees for a ride. Like I said, I didn't invent this shit. This is just the way of the world. People want the sizzle, not the steak. And also, there is a profound difference between working hard and working smart. Let's say the task at hand is to move a 1,500-pound rock. You probably never have to do this. This is just a symbolic task. Now, you can kind of lean in with your shoulder against the rock and push with all your might, with your legs, full force. No doubt, you might break a sweat. You might even break your fucking back. Who knows? Or you can work kind of smart. You could phone a couple of friends. You could offer them free pizza and beer and get a helping hand or two. Kind of smart. Or you could work really smart. And you could find a smaller rock. And you could find a lever, a sturdy lever, and just, employ the concept of physics and get the task done. The choice is yours, people. Work hard or work smart. And I'll leave you with this parting thought. If you do a little bit of both, a little bit of the former, a little bit of the latter, you will see progress. And a little bit of progress will always serve as the purest form of motivation for greater progress. This is Luxley saying, guys, wherever it is by you, morning, afternoon, or night, make it great. Luxley signing off.